Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. We are here, Erin, for you because this is significant. Once again, we know, you know that we know that you do not call us on just for cups of teas recipes. That is a private joke between the two of you, and we just want to say we know. We want to have humour with this, which sort of almost slightly annoys the vehicle a bit, even though she loves to make jokes. She is accusing us, judging us almost, of our bad behavior and bad jokes. And we know that sometimes we are creating jokes and hoping that they work. And we are wanting to raise the vibration of the conversations because sometimes we talk about very, very serious things, which we know when we are scanning who is listening at all the different times people are scanning and listening to hear this information, they're getting triggered. So we are very aware of the audience's responses and reactions. We're very aware of that. And so um, this may be strange for people to know, but we can read our audience very well. And we are making sure we are directly impacting those who need to be directly impacted. And we do this with love, and we hope that they respect the triggers and the expansion and the growth and the new thought processes and the expansion of different perspectives. So, of course, people can use their free will not to listen to us and to judge us and our humour, and that is fine, but we are of service. We always have been of service. And while this is big concepts and big information, and we know that people in 3D often don't want to step up and step into respecting and understanding and wanting to believe this information, we understand all, we understand why, and that is fine. We're trying to help humanity here. We're not trying to save you from feelings of being pushed along to be reminded of your life contracts and missions here at this important time. So, have we mansplained ourselves enough today, Erin, do you think?
Oh no, I think that was just the starter. I got a whole list of mansplaining potential here, and I'm pumped up.
Oh, well, fantastic. So, from our perspective, we want to say that many are listening to you right now from our side. We're all pulling up our couches, we are getting our popcorn ready, just so you can imagine what we are doing, but really we're not. We haven't consumed popcorn, nor are we interested in it. And we are just wanting to be the cool kids with you and let you know that while even though we have different bodies to you, while we have different life experiences and cycles to you, we can still have unity of a joke and conversation and be friends. We're not scary. We have best intentions for humanity, and we have an advantage point, which is something you respect. Our advantage point, our perception, and our awareness of what's going on and the purposes of why everything is going and unfolding as it is very helpful and beneficial for you to be able to release any worries and concerns that you are potentially vulnerable to man, controlling man once again, and strangling any joy that your 3D lives could have. So, a bit doom and gloomy. Some of people's agendas are really not good for humanity at all. At all, they have self-serving hopes and dreams, and we respect all life contracts and we respect all free will and choices, but are all hopes and dreams granted? We're gratefully able to say no, no, not at all, not at all, because some contracts need to be cut short now, because the hopes and dreams are going to impact way too many. You know, the person we are referring to, we will not be speaking about that publicly today. But all is well there. And we would like to just firmly remind everyone that asking us for protection, asking us to help assist you, is using your free will to be able to get high dimensional frequency energy, which is profoundly protecting, profoundly healing, profoundly reassuring. Use us. We appreciate being able to be of service. And we do not grant all hopes and dreams either when people are using their free will, as we would like to remind people. But we will honor you the best way that you need. You need certain things, and you think you want certain things. And we know the difference. So we're not going to spoil you, but we're going to certainly help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I have a list similar to Santa's list. I have a list of epiphany requests for the class. Would that be all right if I got started?
Go for it. We are waiting.
Awesome. Okay. So my first category is moral compass. So for those who want to start a race or any other narrative to stop the momentum of the freedom rallies, can they please have a epiphany that they need to throw in the towel with this selfish desire to conquer and question where it's coming from, and have a very humbling epiphany that would make them become more humanitarian with that.
There is a lot to unpack there, but we will summarize it for the short duration that you need us today. So those who are trying to lead and organize race rallies, it's riots. We want to say it's riots. There are some peaceful rallies, and then there are some disruptive riots. Know the difference. And they have different agendas. And they're trying to merge into both in some locations. And it will not really impact. They will try, but they will realize that their moral compasses were right all along, their intuition was right all along, and they really need to separate these movements. So the problem that you're facing is people who do not actually have a care for either side of the argument, but they are being paid to show up and just be menaces. So they need to provide food for their, we could say, drug habits. They need to provide money for their drug habits. They need to provide money for food. They have been so displaced through a life cycle recently that they will do anything for money. And so they don't see the destruction. This is interesting because when they get together to perform their riots and to heckle and to just be naughty kids on the streets, pretending to have a true passion and cause, really what they're experiencing is unity within themselves. Sometimes breaking windows and creating destruction and being loud and angry and pretending to be passionate about something, it actually does have purpose. And it's okay. It's okay. They need to get out their vents and frustrations for things that they may not even be aware that they're holding on to. So while they're just in neutral, accepting that they're going to get paid for this, or they're going to get fed by this, or they're going to get high from this, whatever is getting them to be starting to do this, those are the main sort of people that are being pulled into having this movement going forward. And then you have a lot of groupies that are wanting to just tag along to be angry at something, and to they have been oppressed for various other things. They're not dealing with their inner work. So instead of having peaceful rallies where they're walking and embracing each other with love and having hope, this other chaotic, it's those riots, they're sort of outlets for those who are pent up and have anger within them. And so we are also watching them they will kick and scream and be angry and say that it's for one cause, but what they're actually processing and releasing is something else that they haven't ever wanted to deal with. It's their inner work that's squeezing them and pushing them to be angry and destructive, violent. And while they can't normally do it in their normal days, this feels like a very good outlet for them to work together and be just really angry together. And they may not even understand why. They may not even understand why it feels so good. But it is releasing. They are being triggered. And so they are cleansing themselves of that. They will afterwards really think and feel that while it was good to have that adrenaline rush, their moral compass still feels a bit unsettled. But once they've removed that density that they released during the event, they've lifted up their vibration a bit to be able to be aware more so of their moral compasses. So yes, we can see purpose in this. We are also watching this. This needs to be an outlet for them. So we would recommend use and choose your moral compass to feel which way do you need to release your triggers and built up frustrations. Pounding your feet on a paved walk journey with others who are setting intentions for freedom and justice and common sense, or something else. We don't judge either way. Whichever group you want to choose, we do not judge you, but make sure whatever you choose, you're 100% fully passionate in doing it. And so that's going to release you, whatever needs to be released. You know, so many people are really struggling to find their balance and neutral with this bigger energy that keeps increasing on this planet. If they're not motivated to do their inner work naturally, they're going to be motivated to do it somehow, somewhere else, which will look something else. So it's very purposeful. We understand you're concerned. We understand you're wanting us to stop things that shouldn't occur, and we see how it's going to unfold, that many of it kind of does need to occur. Yes, unfortunately there is going to be big disruptions. Yes, there's going to be people injured and hurt, and we want to keep reminding many these are lessons and experiences that those people need and want. And so if you can find your own neutral with this as things have to unfold, it will help you.
10-4, thank you. Can I ask for epiphanies to all of those who are consciously unaware of the true agenda behind race wars, air quotes, social issues, politics, the true agenda of separation, and move their fixation away from the one topic they're fixated on into questioning what is really going on here.
Yes, absolutely. And they will get that. When they attend these events, they will see others. If you're attending the peaceful march, you will see others being peaceful. That will give you peace. You will realize while we're all here together, there's unity there. It's beautiful. It gives people epiphanies that you're not alone. Just like with the riots, they're going to see that they also have unity, that they're also not alone, that there also does have frustrations. But while they're watching others be complete lunatics, destroying, being just real thugs, living their best street life, shall we say, it's almost like they've been oppressed so much in their own lives. They may be like helicoptered children. These are what we kind of see as just an example of why these people, these adults are behaving like this. They've never been allowed to express themselves. So smashing some stuff feels really good to them. And so they're going to release all of that control that they've had in their lives. And so, but unfortunately, well, fortunately for us, but unfortunately for them, while they're noticing other people's behaviors in this riot, it kind of makes them realize this is really yuck. This is really just, as you would say, Erin, this is really tacky. This is really unnecessary. This is really like over the top. They will get an adrenaline high when it starts, but they will all sort of peter out with it because they will just realize this is not ever going to be solving their problems of what they think that they're sort of fighting for. And so they will have their epiphanies. Some may need to smash quite a bit of stuff to get out the events and frustrations, not because they enjoy the distraction, but because they've got so much to release. Their anger is so much. So we understand, but they will be having these epiphanies during the time and as they reflect back on it the days afterwards.
Okay, I hear ya. Okay, next request is for epiphanies for both parties on the range of the spectrum with the conspiracy theorist division. Those who mocked others, that they may not be ashamed or embarrassed of their behavior. They don't beat themselves up over it. And then also on the flip side, those who were mocked, that they forgive those who mocked them and hold space and compassion for those people as they are about to have their worlds turned upside down.
Yes, judgment of others. That would be fantastic. We would love that. And really, what is judgment is you're observing others who have behaved differently to you, who have differences to you, and so you're comparing others. And so when you compare others, then there may be a mismatch of connection. And so we understand the reactions of why, and we will trust that this is a stepping stone for them to accept that they were wrong. We have to let them feel and understand they were wrong with their judgment of others and their reactions of others, especially now when it's so obvious. And so we can see the frustration on both sides. And what is the best way forward for us is to be able to let growth occur and have those people who poo-pooed their family and friends that were trying to tell them of the other agendas. They have so much new information in their faces now. They have to accept it. They want to accept it, but they don't want to show that they were wrong to their family and friends because they're judging themselves now for judging others and reacting and saying, you're crazy. No, if this was true, this would be on mainstream media. So this is about them getting over themselves and forgiving themselves for being wrong. And so it's embarrassing. So if those people can forgive those truthers that tried to help awaken their family and friends but got rejected straight away from understanding it themselves, they've already matured. They can forgive and accept. It wasn't personally. We all reacted certain ways when we learn certain new truths. There is a, oh, no, I don't want to believe that for a second moment. And everyone does that. That's why you can have so much great compassion for them. That's why you can keep reaching out to them. Because there's that awkwardness. We want the light workers and the mature spiritual people to bridge that gap of awkwardness and reach out and comfort them. The biggest thing we are noticing is how all of you who have been listening to us, you've grown quite profoundly, which is fantastic. It's really what we've always been hoping for you. And so you're noticing your new growth and changes. But because, how do we say this? You're growing, you're changing, and you're expanding, and that is fantastic. But some of you still have limited views of how others are. You notice your own changes, but you're still reacting as if no one has changed around you. And so just do a little survey. Are you still treating people because of your notion of how they are, and you're treating them as if they're going to react a certain way? Because this is a tripping point for some we have seen. You're still thinking that they're all asleep and ignorant and judgmental. And so you treat them like that. You're afraid of their reaction, so you don't have any conversations with them. You have given up trying. And we say, for many people who are too dense, they've had bigger epiphanies quite quickly, they can expand quite quickly, and they're not the same people that reacted to your information when you once shared it. It is a profoundly growing community of truth that is spreading. We have said it's contagious. It's so obvious. So, many people now are having their epiphanies, and the hardest thing for them is that they're having their epiphanies when they have been firmly stubborn to refuse anything, and they've been told every direction, and they're like, no, 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 I do not want that to be true. So you're crazy. Stop changing my reality. Shoo off, bug off. You're just a conspiracy theorist nut, and I do not like you. You know those ones. However, now they have had their own personal epiphanies and they're scared. How do I share this with others? They do not see or even notice that what you are trying to tell them is what they've suddenly discovered themselves. They don't know where to go to, and they're scared that they're going to have that reaction to others. So please just revalue all of your friendships and connections with people, and every day you have a conversation with them, see where they are at. Be open to hear what they're going through. What's new in your world? You should be asking each other. What's happening for you? Be open to hearing them, because they are struggling. These newly awoken people, that they've awoken to one thing, or maybe they've got a hunch and they may be awoken to two things now, and it's very big for them to understand. It's very challenging. Be that friend, be that life support, be that humanitarian who loves them through this. Find out where they are at, because they still have this love and compassion and dedication to mainstream media, for example, and they love this and they are loyal to this, but they're starting to have doubts and they're getting confused. What's going on? So they don't want you to come in and say, I bloody told you 3 years ago. And they don't want that. They do not want that. They want to start being able to share with you some of their worries and concerns, because they're confused. So we would like the light workers and the people listening here to just really don't assume where people are at, and really don't assume how they will react either. People are growing just as much as you in different ways. So while we have labeled these people as asleep or stubborn and refusing to see what's right in their faces, that may have been the case once, but it may not be true now. We're dealing with new energies, we're dealing with new people who have had many different epiphanies, and we need to let them know and let them feel reassured you love them and you care for them and you're interested in what they're going through now.
Love it. Thank you. The next portion is employers. I would like to ask for epiphanies for all owners of companies, CEOs, CFOs, managers of all kinds who have epiphanies that they themselves have been pushed around, and they want to stop pushing others around. They want to stop the cycle, and they actually have no right to make a health decision for their employees.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we are putting pressure on those who do not need to have those experiences of controlling others. If you are blindly just following the mandates, and there is really no need for you to overcome that experience of controlling others and pushing others around, we have indeed been giving them open compassion to see things they don't actually like, having to enforce something that they don't really believe in. They are still people behind those titles of jobs. And so we are pressurizing everyone to really look at this and awaken to this. But again, there are some people that will do anything because they're being paid to do it, regardless of their personal opinions. And so those are the people we are still trying to inspire to actually follow through their own moral compass and have a personal opinion to their professional role. This is very significant because we know so many professional roles have been corrupted and coerced while there's still a personal person behind that professional input, that professional data, that professional stance. And so we have been very much so focusing on people who have influence of others to really make them feel this moral compass. They know personally how they feel, but they're confused about how they can translate that into the professional role they feel like they need to play. They're questioning whether their job gives them joy. It's fine, they have money, but they're realizing money doesn't actually give them this joy. And they're sensing that they're not going to be personally liked if they keep pushing these mandates because they don't personally like the mandates themselves. So they're having their own epiphanies within themselves. It is occurring, it is happening. We are pushing, we are intensifying those little stubborn ones, shall we say, who are really in a loop and a spin themselves. They think it's ridiculous to some degree, but they still have to follow the rules. And sometimes when they haven't followed the rules, they've got into big trouble in the past. And so it's about being triggered to heal their past, to be able to make better choices for their current day.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. Dear Santa, can I request epiphanies for family members who have decided that their families need to be segregated based on the vaccination status, that they have a opportunity to enjoy their days with their loved ones, and that should be their priority.
Interesting. When you see it, we can understand what you're seeing and what you're saying. We fully respect and understand your request here. And we just want to say, often in these cases, Erin, this is because they're all not going to the same place after the shift. And so they're energetically separating themselves because they're not all going together for the shift in some cases. So can you see it's very purposeful that they're getting used to having a separate family unit plus many families have a pack mentality and peer pressure mentality to just go their one way. So you will have some what you would consider, say, maybe narcissists in the families that dictate how everyone should behave. And so separating those families from those kind of dictators and those roles, can really help people have independent thought again, because family units are so strong that everyone just goes with the peer pressure of the leaders. And so it's actually quite healthy to have separated families at this time, to be able to have freedom from that dictatorship within the families. And we know it's so hard because you're also attached to family and you have all this history with your family, and it's coming up to holidays with families, and this is where it hurts your hearts because you're wanting back those family units. But we say at this time, whoever has been detached from your lives, it's purposeful because you're at a different frequency vibration. And sometimes you just can't keep supporting each other's vibrations, regardless of whether they've got denser energy or they've got high frequency energy. So we are almost like shuffling individuals into their own sort of groups, and this is producing unity because, shall we say, some orphans from the families that are not going with the main narrative of the family heads. This is showing everyone in the family that the power of the heads of the family actually don't have much power at all. And it is showing everyone you can actually walk away from peer pressure and what's expected from you, and you can actually start thinking for yourselves and actually start having your own lives. And you can exclude those who are wanting to force and judge you for your choices. So you can see it's so purposeful, but we understand the emotional attachments. So you can phone call them with love and hear their abuse if they want to abuse you because they are frustrated that how dare you start thinking for yourself and how dare you stop following them. You're dead to us. We're going to write you out of our wills, they may say. And we say you cannot take your inheritances to New Earth.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. I think a lot of people are feeling the sadness. So that is very reassuring to hear that higher perspective. Thank you.
You're feeling the sadness because you know that potentially you will not all be going together in the same places. And so you know after the shift, it's not everyone that you know is on the New Earth for those going to the New Earth. So it's very purposeful who's coming into your life right now, and it's very purposeful who feels like they are fading out of your life right now. So yes, it's sad. Agree for that. Reminisce of the good times you've had for sure, but don't let that block you and stop you from moving forward.
10-4. Thank you. Okay. Dear Santa. Next one. Can we send a bunch of love and healing to all the people who felt coerced into getting the vaccine even though they didn't want to, that they don't fear their choice and they are at peace with it?
This is a very good one because we're teaching them your choices have reactions. We should not be laughing at that, and we are so sorry because that is such a trigger, and it's not. Um, it is a big one because people are making all these choices constantly all the time, but they're not seeing the impact and the ramifications of their choices, and so we're giving them a very we're giving them cold sweats thinking about this right now. That yes, unfortunately they were pushed into it, but because they allowed themselves to be pushed into it, they have to then face the consequences of it. And so those who had temperature raised and had certain reactions to it, they're really having to really understand that what they do, even if they're forced into it or not, it's still their choices. And so they will find peace and balance and neutral with it, usually when they stop having reactions. So it's all very purposeful, as we have said. Whatever your reactions and the outcome for you having the inoculation is all condoned by us. We are watching all, and we are knowing that there are some people that have asked for big reactions from this to teach others and show others. It is all teachable moments. And so yes, we do apologize for that chuckle because it probably feels so unkind, but it is, how else can we get people to realize that their choices and actions have reactions if it hasn't been experienced personally by them? And so many people think that when they do their jobs, they're getting paid to do their jobs, that they're fulfilling their roles. They have to really look at the reactions and the impact of their jobs. And we've made it so personalized to them. Is your job truly, really worth this? They've had to think about everything. So many people have refused. No, I will not be coerced into this. I will leave my job and I will do something else. And they are just so sure of where they should be going and what they should be doing. And they've had to really review and revalue what's significant and important in their lives. They're realizing they don't actually need the money that they think they do to survive. They are thinking every which way about this. This is not just a, this is a big one for them to stop and think about. And this has been a really, from our perspective, a really good time for people to stop and think about it all. There's so many layers to this. We want to reassure you everything is extremely purposeful for each individual scenario.
Thank you. The next category I have is media. Can I ask for epiphanies to all newscasters and journalists that they have the urge, a profound urge to tell the truth instead of pushing the narratives, that they be bold and really out there with their determination to tell the truth.
Yes, they're starting to feel exposed because they've put their names and their faces in some cases on a slanted, biased agenda. And so they're realizing while they were being paid to say and do these things, it's actually on them. And people are looking at them and they know that they are painting a one sided picture. It actually is triggering them. They actually are realizing that they are the faces of this and that they are the scaremongers of this. You can trust us when we say we have been pushing them. And so they are being praised by their bosses to do as they're doing. So this gives them the false sense that they are doing well and good. But from our perspective, they are doing well and good. They are being so ridiculous to awaken others that this is well and good. But they, as journalists and media who are trying to promote fear, because they have had to do a bit of research on this, we are taking off their blindfolds now, we say. Those who did need to be fully blinded to be so angry and passionate about the true fear, and this is trust the science. It's all very purposeful. Who has been playing these roles and why? And so again, it all needed to be this. You needed to have this profound duality for people to find their balance and truths. So yes, you can trust that they all are starting to notice, and they're all quite competitive with each other. And so they're starting to see what other people are saying and writing, and this is helping them remove the blindfolds from themselves. They actually do not want to. The worst case scenarios, we are seeing they're taking off their blindfolds, seeing the truth, and as they have realized this, they're looking around and they notice they have egg on their faces. And this is embarrassing to them because they can't understand, why was I coerced? Why was I fooled into this? I was doing everything that was right. My bosses were paying me for this. I was being praised by my co-workers and colleagues for being so forward thinking with this agenda. And there have been a lot of epiphanies. You can trust that.
I would like to ask the collectives to stop people's addiction to the news and to all influencers, and that they may be made aware of how they are affected, how their moods are affected by watching the news, air quotes, and influencers.
Absolutely. We have been able to do that with removing some of the density from certain collectives that have been plummeting density. So we're going to start breaking their routines of sitting down and watching the news. We're going to be doing something else to sort of distract them and be able to not really retain the attention of it. So we're going to try to distance themselves from the fear factor of it. And we're going to make them more focus on the inconsistencies because they've been told certain things. So it's about catching the media in their inconsistencies. this is really how it's going to awaken people, and it has awoken people, their inconsistencies. So they're going to have these big epiphanies while they are watching the news, so we don't want to block them from watching the news. So the news was the agent to be able to create the fear. Now we know that this is the solution and the antidote for dispelling the fear, and so we are working alongside that, and we are making sure those people who need to be awoken really hear quite loudly the inconsistent information. And so it's all very purposeful what is going on and unfolding. And this is why, when they hear this information and see these inconsistencies in the news, this is why they need to talk to others about it. Because they're suddenly sitting there going, "Excuse me, what? Like, since when?" And they will start thinking and questioning independently for themselves. And this is a big one. But because they're not having a conversation with someone about this, they are internalizing it. And this is when you need to be able to be there and reach out to talk to those family and friends after they've had those epiphanies. So you don't know when individual people are having them. So trust they are, and approach it as if they are, and see where they are at. Don't assume to know where they are at. Just because they were prickly cactuses yesterday does not mean that they are prickly cactuses today. You must give them the benefit of doubt that they are going to be given epiphanies. They will need your support and love, and their reactions from yesterday may not even be today. So really study them, view them, and notice what their behavior is, and stop looping thinking that they are who they were yesterday.
I wanted to break what you said down a little bit more. And so there is separation going on naturally, as we discussed. However, the people who are in our life for a reason and are growing, and like we are growing. They are having those epiphanies, and they will need people to bridge the gap and to be there for them when they are awoken to all the density, and they'll be afraid, and that's when they'll need us. However, the people who are not in our life, who have fallen away, have done so for a reason at the same time. Is this correct?
Yes, but then they are almost stubborn to reach out because they're embarrassed. So it's kind of like they were very dense with the information you presented with them, and then at some point they've had epiphanies, but they may not feel inspired or proud of themselves to then reach out. So this is why we've always recommended anyone in your past that's popped into your mind is the time to reach out to them and see how they're going, because we are mature, you are mature, and you can go and approach them with maturity, because you are not seeking "I told you so" conversations. You are seeking "how are you doing today" conversations, and they may not respond, or they may respond, but you know that you are supposed to be of service daily, and do active things daily, and having private conversations with people daily actually can be a lifeline. We know many that don't want to bother with individual one-on-one conversations because, well, how special is that? I'm here just to help humanity, actually. I'm not going to do one-on-ones. And the thing is, humanity is broken down into one-on-ones. And so we want you to be those happy light workers who are sending love to everyone, and those people who are prompted in your minds to reach out to, do so. Send them a love message, send them something that's not going to trigger them by saying "Are you bloody awake yet to the agenda's full?" And so we say this with humor, but you can see the difference. You can see you reaching out to people with love, whoever has just been prompted into being reminded. You know, it may not have to even be an actual contact or a connection, you may actually just think, I'm just going to send them love right now. And then realize, have I forgiven them or not? Am I neutral with them or not? Where is my inner work here that I need to do for them? That would be a fantastic start.
Great, thank you. Okay, this is an interesting one. Clones. Can I ask that they have public malfunctions that catch the attention of the people who are still reading their tweets?
The clones that are here now are still very purposeful, Erin. And so, yes, we have made it very obvious that they are different with their different mindsets and their different perspectives. And we needed that polarity. We needed that attention. We needed people to see that this is something peculiar. Many people don't want to see that. So, of course, we are making sure that all of the clones, all of the illusions of these leaders are playing out as they're supposed to be playing out. We will make it more and more obvious, but it is unfolding. But remember, we need these figureheads to still play their part as well. And so if it's obvious, people can see it, people know it, people can accept it, even though it's confusing for many. But they're all playing their parts to be so outrageously ridiculous in some cases, it is wakening up all the rest. So yes, we are doing our jobs, we are overseeing everything is going well. We understand you wanted to double check with us, and we can triple check back to you in confirmation. All is well, and we are doing everything we can to awaken humanity, realizing they don't want abrupt waking up for all yet. So we are still being subtle, but very obvious. But subtle and gentle, but very obvious. So we are poking without slapping them awake at this point.
Okay, well, I'll get my popcorn ready then. This will get good. Okay, the next section I have is politics. Can I ask that people have epiphanies that political parties don't actually represent their morals or their values, and be bold and making or having the thought process of walking away from those political parties and just feeling bold in whatever choices they make.
Absolutely, yes. And it is still very interesting how people still have been trusting political parties. um, we are making people question, well, remember their promises to you to be elected, what they would do, and then where did that unfold? Yes, we know some have had good intentions to try and make change, but ultimately, when they're in offices, really, how does it actually look? What's the reality of that? And so, we're not specifically just talking about your country, Erin, of what you call the United States of America. We are saying that there is a difference between promising the world to everyone to be voted in versus the actual reality of what happens. And so people know this. People truly don't really have a big trust in politicians, but it's interesting that they have almost forgotten about their distrust to realize new things. So there is always purposes for so much big awakenings. This is always going to be, and this always was meant to be, the grand awakening for all. And it certainly is the case. So we are trying to inspire and encourage many to wake up to all of these structures and systems that are truly not for humanity's best interest. It just takes some time for people to accept it, because they are just thinking, I must be wrong here, because it sounds like coercion. This sounds like fraud. This sounds like nonsense. This does not sound like common sense. So they are all being triggered to really stop and question all.
Wonderful. The last political question or request I have on my Santa's list is, can we have, well, this may be purposeful, but if it is possible, can I ask for a request for epiphanies for people who are still holding on to Donald Trump saving them in some way? That they realize that their voices and opinions can be heard now, that they don't have to wait for him or anyone else in any office to feel like they're being represented or that their opinions are heard.
Yes. Yes, indeed. When you go back and to look at the history of actually what that president did do for your country, many people will actually be quite surprised of the due diligence he did do and he did make and create change, which was actually for the embetterment of the country. Believe it or not, many people are still thinking he is the devil, but he is not the devil. He is merely one man, and he is showing everyone what one man can do to create change. While all of you cannot be the next president of your America, it is showing you what hard work looks like, what standing up to the truth looks like, and following systems. However, he did fall down because he followed systems that are corrupted. So this is where his sticking point is. This is what he was trying to show people. You cannot follow truly all the systems because there is fundamental problems within the systems that are corrupt. Imagine that. Imagine trying to follow agendas and follow systems that have so many loopholes to block everyone from trying to make the big changes he was hoping to do. Sound familiar? It sounds like he needed to be a personal person and step into that empowerment and speak from his personal perspective versus playing the role, the title of his job. See the theme that we have been trying to tell you all this entire time today.
I see it. Thank you. Any closing comments for the class before Joanne and I jump into other questions?
All is well, and we love being able to give you the bigger perspective. We understand people are listening, going, well, that's bloody convenient that you try to twist it this way. You know, it all makes sense now, and they don't like that. They don't like having these problems that they perceive to be like, I'm fighting the cause for humanity because everything is wrong, and no one else knows it. I'm just so intelligent. I'm the one that knows where all the corruption is and where the faults are and where the reptilians live. I know it all. And we're sort of saying that's really cute, but having to accept that there does need to be polarity, having to understand that all of this is for experiences and lessons, and you're not really victims because you're all very excited, mostly, apart from some volunteers, you're all very excited to come here to experience these lives, to be having the autonomy to live with a small fraction of your higher selves, living independently, having your freedom of choices, and using your free will to explore and have a 3D life. You've all created these great 3D lives for yourselves. Only you could create the life you have now for yourselves, the way you have chosen your choices. The partners you have had, you chose. The houses you have, you've chose. While you may think this was a choice taken from you and you were just placed there, it's ultimately all of your choices that you have made prior to get to where you are today. You are the sum of all of your choices that you have made up to this point right now. How does that look for you? How do you feel about that? Many people are angry with us because of how their lives are going. But when you understand free will and the choices you've made, we have been trying to guide you to different directions that would be seemingly maybe easier for you, more fun for you, more enjoyable for you, but it may look hard. But it's the best way forward, confronting issues, not distracting yourselves and looking the other way and hiding from doing things that you may perceive as hard. growing is hard. Expanding your mindsets is hard. Expanding your heart is hard. And yet many people choose to shut down and to be very frustrated and angry with their lives. Finding your neutral and balance in this very extremely purposeful time for humanity is very significant. If you have missed your opportunities or realized you've missed your doing your inner work, you didn't think that loving yourself applied to you. You didn't think that loving others applied to you. You didn't think that you had to be mature in your approach to seeing what's happening for humanity at this time and having peace with it. All of these things that we've been saying to you in all of our sessions have applied to you. Of course, many have graduated with flying colours and have a full sticker book to prove it, shall we say. And so those gold stars are not just given out randomly. You have to earn them. And as we know, and as you know, those gold stars reward system, mythical. We have been creating this long outstanding joke with you that you get rewards for having your own epiphanies and growing from it and overcoming it and expanding it. But you know when you have stepped into a new gold star. And you also know when you have gone, oh bugger, I've realized that that was a gold star opportunity for me. I didn't quite get it this time. I will get it the next time. So however you are seeing your gold star reward systems, that's fantastic. We want to encourage many to have understood that what we were saying in sessions has always applied to you. Many have tuned us out. Many do not want to hear what they have to do. They're merely listening to us just so we can tell them future stuff. They're not interested in actually doing any work. Actually, they're pretty damn refusing to do it. But then they have this challenge because they're frustrated with their lives and angry with us. They assume that we're stupid. They assume we don't know what we're talking about because we're not there in the third dimension. We're not living their lives. And we say, well, we would never choose to do those choices that you've made. While we can respect your choices that you have made for your lives, why are you still a victim to your own choices? We certainly didn't make you have those choices. We guided you differently, and you struggled with that, and just like some of you are struggling now. But as you go back and listen to these sessions again, you will realize for many who are listening how much they have mastered so much. They have accepted and heard and understood the significance of what we're trying to say. We're trying to help everyone that chooses to grow and expand. And we see all. And we love you all so much. And we want, we would love nothing more than everyone to remember their purpose here, remember their mission here, and to honor it. That would be all our Christmases at once.
Thank you, collectives. Much love.
We needed to add the Christmas statement in since you have been calling on Santa.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be meaningful. We're trying to say, everyone enjoy your Christmases, enjoy your holidays, however you observe this day, the ending of the year. This has been a very significant year for you all. So you need to be celebrating it. You need to be respectful of your own journey. You need to be respectful of everyone else's journey. take this time to go within and feel really proud of your growth and what you have been doing to help yourselves and help others. It is certainly no easy task, and many have had to overcome many blocks and many limitations to get to where they are. So celebrate that journey. You're going to be so ridiculously proud of yourselves when you reflect back on your choices you have made to get to where you are now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Joanne and I have private questions now. Can I call upon her subconscious, please?
Yes.
Hello. We had questions about the people who are having nightmares, and are they Elon attacks?
We say that the name of that body is no longer with that soul that is the man that you know as Elon. You know this. So what you're really asking us is about the reptilian attacks. So we want to remind people listening, we feel like this is important for all to hear, Erin, is that the reptilians are still a collective, and we are still working with the collectives. But as you know, there is separations not just within your families at the moment, but also separations of collectives. And so there are some polarities in the collectives, and he is a sticking one for them. It's the soul essence. Because he's entitled, he feels very entitled to, because of the position that he is in, and that he feels that he has earned to be in, not just through his reptilian lineage, but also through his, what he perceives as diligent hard work for this planet and for humanity at this time. So it's all very significant, but he is very deterred. He's very annoyed, and he thinks that we are. He doesn't quite get us. It's above his pay grade, which bothers him because he sort of still has, because of the life he is living and the role he is playing. He still feels like he's the genius. But ultimately, he's really been surrounding himself with geniuses. So it's sort of, there's a lot going on for him. And so what he sort of thinks he's doing is he's trying to take away and dishevel people who are bigger light workers. And he's trying to get in any which way he can to give them triggers. To really, he's thinking it will break them because he doesn't understand how they are such big light workers. So he's giving them potentially bad dreams or lucid dreams that is on a scareful nature. And it's not just him. We want to say it's him and his small group of supporters who are in the reptilian. It's really the reptilians who are in humanoid bodies. So it's what you would maybe call reptilian starseeds. So it's really them versus the actual more rudimentary full reptilians and reptilian bodies. There is a difference there. They have different roles here on this planet, and we are in much better connection with the actual reptilians who look reptilian, who have been living deep underground with their communities there. We have got a lot of their support, and we're working with them very easily now. But it's actually the reptilian starseeds in some regards, a small handful of them, that are trying to use things that they probably don't really understand to try and impact. So they are, for the better lack of the word, they are thinking that all these light workers that they can sense are witches, shall we say, in a negative way, and that they are doing harm to humanity and this planet. So they think that they are creating in a reality these horrible events coming. So they know that events are coming. They can't understand why or how. It freaks them out because they don't want these big changes. They don't really have conscious privy information to the changes of the shift and why. So they know big changes are coming, but they don't get the full scope of it. They've never been allowed to have full access to the information. Even their own collectives are blocking them from that because it is purposeful for them to learn their lessons here in the 3D. Some of them have to learn. You all have to learn. So they've got different experiences that they must learn. So they're playing with devices they shouldn't be playing with, and it's really not working. They think that they may be sort of triggering people to stop being open or stop planning end of world events, which is obviously amusing to us because 3D people, even big light workers, do not actually have any say in the matter of future events at all. You can accept it or not, and that's the only choices you have. You don't create it, you don't will it, you don't change it, you don't have any access to future events, nor have you ever really truly had access to it. So that is a very cute 3D ego mind that is convincing themselves of this. But it is beyond that. It is much more beyond that. The guardians of this planet have full control over what is happening. And there is a hierarchy within this system that we are working in. And of course, it's the full collective of sorts that has the final say of all because it has the biggest perspective. But we understand that sometimes when you have the biggest perspective, you don't have almost you're not in touch with the experiences as such that need to unfold. And so this is where we come in and we say it's not quite ready yet because there's still big lessons that just are about to unfold for many, and we want that to happen before the laser event. So this is what our recommendations to sources at this time, this is what our final report has been. To please, we could see great value in experiences to pause this, to let some big epiphanies, to let people choose to stand up for themselves, find that unity, find their own voices. And so we see so many people on that tilting edge of, I think I might stand up for myself and my beliefs. Whew, this is scary. I don't want to do this. Last time I did this was in 8th grade and I got told off. And so they're going through big inner work. They know morally what they want to say and do. They're just collecting the courage now to do it. So this is our response to you, is that yes, there is little, I want to say menaces, but they're not really. They're trying the best that they can to survive with their lack of understanding of information for those reptilian star seeds, and we're all supporting them to learn their lessons in a very kind way. We want to say we have distracted Elon in a few ways. He's having some
I saw that.
He's having some challenging days and he's not too sure why. Even basic things are not working for him at the moment. He's almost so it's frustrating for him. So he is getting distracted, and we're saying don't distract yourselves with that either. It's all fine and very purposeful. And so this is our update to you and all, is that this is the time. This is the beautiful time for the awakening and the unity and the support of all. Deep compassion for all, true love for all. Remembering when you're focused and frustrated with your 3D lives, you're not being of service. You really aren't. Because you're having to have balance and neutral of your lives you've created to then be able to support others. So those who are still distracting themselves with their lack and their limitations, comparing themselves to others who they feel is who they should be and what they should be able to do. Respecting the skill sets that you do have because you've given them to yourselves. Respecting who you are and what you're capable of is also very beneficial. There is so much for us to say, but we want you to know that we would love to see more people stepping up. That's for sure. That's always been the case. But as you understand, you've got to get to that certain point of empowerment of self, of love, to be able to be confident enough to do that, whatever that looks like for you. And so each day you're given an opportunity to share with others your point of view. Many now, we're referencing some in Australia who may need to present certain cards and present masks to be able to go shopping. And we say, try. Don't just trust that you're going to have a confrontation that may not always be the case. We know you don't want to be rejected. We know you don't want to feel challenged. But if you keep trying every day to enter a store you know you're not supposed to go into because of mandates and people patrolling that, give everyone an opportunity to be triggered to check their moral compass. This is profoundly significant. Remember, if you are triggered or you are triggering someone, it is growth that is being offered to you, not density. It does feel dense when you're having that trigger, but that is merely the reaction and the side effect to be able to be on your journey to expand, to learn from, to grow from, to overcome. Face your fears. Face your fears. Ask for protection from us. Ask for guidance from us. Ask us to help you find the right words when you are standing up for yourselves. We are always with you. We want to give you this courage. We want to give you this strength. And if you feel like you're just about to want to start changing your world, your reality, your reactions, you are the change. You can create the change. But you have to start. And being afraid of what you perceive could be the results of you trying, we trust that you know that when you try to stand up and do something that may not be within the mandates, you will not be killed for it. You may get the look of death from someone who cannot believe the audacity, but trust. You are making them be triggered to think about everything. You're not unkind people, you are loving people. And when you remember you are loving people, that radiates out love, we want to say, oh goodness, this this is getting an eye roll from Joanne because she's like, I don't know if this is going to work. But we're going to say to you all now, what would sweet baby Jesus do? What would that man Jesus do? What would he do? How would he behave? How would he approach those people who potentially could want to war with him, fight with him, argue with him? Jesus was a man. He was merely a man who had great connections with us, just like other people we know. And we're talking about you. You have great connections with us. Prepare how you're going to overcome your fears today. Trust it may not be perfect the first time. Trust you may have to do it a few times to awaken others for epiphanies. You are our family and loved ones on the ground. You are our 3D counterparts. We're a team. We have unity. We have unity together. We will do our best to be with you when you call upon us, to ask us to give you strength, to ask us to give epiphanies to those who may stop you in your standing up for yourselves. Use your free will. We say this with much love.
Thank you.